Imagine you're shopping online. You find a jacket for $99. You aren't sure about the size, so you order two, one medium, one large. The website says free returns, so you think, perfect. You try both when they arrive. The medium fits better. You put the large back in the package, print the label, drop it off, and get your $99 back. To you, the transaction is over. One jacket bought, one jacket returned, no penalty, no extra charge. But here's the strange part. The retailer didn't just receive your jacket back. They received a problem. Someone has to transport it. Someone has to open it. Someone has to inspect it. Someone has to decide whether it can still be sold as new. And someone has to figure out what happens if it can't. That $99 jacket has just started a second journey. And this one goes in the opposite direction. The word free is doing something very clever here. It isn't describing the cost. It's describing who sees the cost. Because the return may be free to you, but it is absolutely not free to the retailer. And eventually, somebody pays. That is the machine we're going to take apart. First, returns aren't all the same. There are at least 4 different machines hiding behind that little return button. Type 1, the simple return. You bought the wrong size, the product is fine, the retailer receives it, checks it, and puts it back into inventory. This is the best case scenario. Type 2, the opened return. Maybe you wore the shoes around your house, opened the electronics box, removed the protective film, tried the makeup. Now the retailer has to decide whether another customer will accept this as new. Type 3, the damaged or incomplete return. Maybe the box is crushed, a cable is missing, a piece of packaging is gone. The product works, but it can't necessarily be sold at full price anymore. And then there's type 4, the return that becomes inventory loss. The product can't realistically be resold, so it may be liquidated, discounted, donated, repaired, recycled, or written off. Here's where the psychology gets interesting. When you buy something online, you aren't only buying the product, you're buying uncertainty protection. You don't know exactly how the clothes will fit. You can't touch the material. You can't test the headphones. You can't sit in the chair. You can't hold the phone. So the retailer removes some of that uncertainty. Try it at home. Free returns, easy refunds. That promise makes you more comfortable clicking buy now. So here's the hidden trade. The retailer accepts more uncertainty so that you will accept less uncertainty, and that can increase conversion. Think about our $99 jacket. Without free returns, you might think, I'm not sure about the size. I'll skip it. With free returns, you order both sizes. The retailer may have doubled the merchandise shipped to you, but it also removed the psychological barrier that stopped you from buying in the first place. That's the real purpose of the free return. It's not just customer service, it's a sales tool. Now let's follow that jacket. You return it. First comes transportation. The item has to move from your home back into the retailer's network. Then comes processing. Someone receives the package, scans it, opens it, inspects it, checks whether everything is there. Then comes inventory. Can it go straight back onto the shelf? Does it need repackaging? Does it need cleaning? Does it need repair? Or should it be sold somewhere else? Every decision costs money. And there is another cost that's easy to miss. Time. While the jacket is moving through the return system, that inventory isn't available for another customer. And if the product eventually sells for less than the original price, the retailer has lost part of the economic value of the original transaction. Now let's follow the jacket all the way through the machine. Imagine the retailer sells it for $99. That $99 doesn't belong to the retailer. A portion goes to the manufacturer, another portion covers materials, another covers labor, another portion covers transportation, then warehousing, packaging, payment processing, marketing, customer service, and finally, the retailer hopes there's a profit left. Now imagine the jacket gets returned. The original supply chain doesn't simply reverse itself perfectly. Instead, you create a reverse supply chain. Customer, return carrier, processing facility, inspection, repackaging, warehouse, resale, or liquidation. And here's the key difference. The forward journey was designed to move thousands of identical products efficiently toward customers. The reverse journey is messy. Products arrive in different conditions, at different times, from different locations. Some are perfect, some are damaged, some are incomplete, some are suspicious. Some are worthless. It's basically logistics in reverse, but with uncertainty added. That is the expensive part. And the scale is enormous. The NRF estimated that consumers would return roughly $849.9 billion worth of merchandise in 2025. That's not a side problem, that's an industry-sized economic system. So where does the money actually go? Here's the surprising part. The retailer isn't necessarily trying to eliminate returns, because returns can help create more sales. Call this the permission to buy effect. If you know you can easily reverse the purchase, you're more willing to make the purchase. That means a retailer can tolerate some returns if the additional sales generated by a generous policy are worth more than the additional costs. Think about our $99 jacket again. Suppose removing the return option causes enough customers to hesitate that sales fall. The retailer might lose far more revenue than it saves in return processing. So the retailer makes a calculation. More returns versus more purchases. And sometimes accepting the returns wins. That's why free returns can actually be part of the customer acquisition strategy. The return is the price of reducing your fear, and reduced fear can produce more orders. The National Retail Federation reported that 40% of retailers surveyed said a better return experience means customers will spend more with their brand over time. So the return isn't always viewed as failure. Sometimes it's the cost of making the original sale possible, but there is a darker side. Returns create opportunities for abuse. A customer can buy several sizes intending to return most of them. That's called bracketing. Someone can wear an item and send it back. That's wardrobing. Someone can return the wrong product, or a counterfeit, or an empty package, or an item that was never eligible for a refund in the first place. In 2025, NRF reported that 9% of all returns were fraudulent, while almost half of shoppers surveyed, 45%, said it was acceptable to bend the rules when making returns. And the cost isn't trivial. A separate 2024 analysis from Appriss Retail and Deloitte estimated $103 billion in losses from fraudulent returns and claims. So retailers face a strange dilemma. Make returns too difficult and customers leave. Make returns too easy and the system becomes expensive to abuse. So what determines whether free returns is profitable or disastrous? One variable matters enormously: the resale value of the returned product. Imagine two products. A returned hardcover book arrives in perfect condition. It can probably be sold again. Very little value is lost. Now imagine a seasonal fashion item. It arrives 6 weeks later. The retailer has already moved into the next season. The product is technically new, but economically, it may already be old. That's the difference. A return isn't just about whether the product is physically usable. It's about whether the product can still be sold at the same economic value. Time changes inventory. And returns consume time. Let's go back to our $99 jacket. Imagine the retailer's original economics look roughly like this: $99 selling price. Suppose the product itself cost the retailer $38.50. Fulfillment and outbound shipping cost another $7.25. Payment and transaction costs take $2.80. Marketing and customer acquisition average $14.60. That leaves roughly $35.85 before the retailer's other overhead and profit considerations. Now, you return the jacket. Suppose the return, transportation, and processing effectively cost $8.40. Repackaging costs $1.90. Inspection and handling costs $3.20. And because the jacket can no longer reliably be sold as new, the retailer eventually sells it through a discount channel for $71 instead of $99. That discount represents another $28 of lost potential revenue. The return didn't cost the retailer nothing. The return transformed the economics of the original sale. And this is why retailers have started experimenting with return fees, shorter windows, restocking restrictions, returnless refunds, centralized return locations, and other ways to make reverse logistics cheaper. So the next time you sit at home, order 2 sizes, keep one, and send the other back, remember the little $99 jacket. You saw a button that said free returns, but behind that button was a truck, a warehouse, a worker, an inspection, a second shipment, a pricing decision, and sometimes a loss. Because the return was never actually free. The return is not free. The retailer quietly prices failed purchases into everything that gets sold.